Good afternoon. It is 2 p.m. on May 26th. It's not May 26th. It is July 28th.
I'm off another month.
And this is the meeting of the Joint Powers Board of the Selkirk Fire Services. Present at this meeting, we have Kate McAllister representing City of Sandpoint. We have Jim Woodward representing Cycle Fire District, and we have Will Gatsby representing Westside Fire District, and then Chief Gavin Gilcrease, Sarah Lynn's Sandpoint City Treasurer, and working our meeting for us. So thank you, Tammy. With that, Chief, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
Yes.
Please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're all feeling with you today.
It's like, oh.
Public comment. Any public comment today? Okay. Board staff announcements, board members, any of you have
Nothing
announcements?
from West Side.
Staff? Okay. With that, we will move to approving meeting minutes.
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, so moved. Meeting minutes approved. Chief's report.
So good afternoon. I just want to start off with a couple of announcements. So at the first part of July, we were really geared up for July the 4th and all the festivities that were going on. And as it turned out, July 4th was actually the calm day. The second and third, not so much, but the 4th was actually pretty calm. So everything went off without a hitch. We just ran an unusually high amount of calls, I think, for the second and the third. It was just, maybe it was because of the long weekend or something, but we have been talking a little bit in our individual commission meetings about looking towards doing a ballistic vest purchase just due to active violence that have kind of had an uptick. Was able to work with the chief of police here at Sandpoint, Corey Kuhn. And we're going to get some loaners from him. So that way, when school starts, we'll have them on the rigs. And hopefully that training is going to start taking place here within the next month or so to kind of get everybody back in the groove and working on those teams again. He is going to basically donate to Selkirk Fire some of the plates that go inside of the rack carriers. So the ballistic plates we're going to get from the police department. That way, all we have to buy for our units is the actual vest itself. So then those come in at about $120 a piece. So
May I ask a question?
yes, ma'am.
Was there something that precipitated this? Am I missing something or?
This I guess the original plan was to do this 2019, maybe early 2020, and it just we started with the training, and then but before they got the vest or anything, everything kind of went by the wayside. So, and it was the end of last school year, towards the end of when the Texas shooting happened at the school. So that just kind of got us talking internally and talking with Corey and just kind of making sure that we had a game plan, wanting to work with the school district, which he's actually in on those meetings right now. So, but it's more of it's a law enforcement issue, but fire goes in support of the medical side of that. So
Sure.
When there's a fire specific or medical specific, that's when Selkirk and Bonner County EMS will jump in on that. So, but part of that is triaging and removing patients to collection points. And when they get somebody pinned in like a hot area of the building, the warm area, we can go in and under the cover of law enforcement and get people out. But we're not sending any of our people in without a vest. So
Got it.
that's kind of how it just
Okay.
kicked off. And it's a whole conversation that goes on, with that, but
Sure.
it's and we're happy to see that the school board is on it. They're all about it. So
Okay.
we're really looking forward to working with them.
Excellent. I was just worried.
No.
All right. Preventative.
Yes, hopefully. That's what Always do it in threes, right? So for the incident review, we did have, in the beginning of July, we had a structure fire on Lake Shore Drive over in Sagal at Sleep's Cabins, his shop over there. The shop was a loss. We were able to keep the fire from spreading to the house. So we did a pretty good job, basically had it under control in about 20 minutes. So it was, but it was totally involved when we got there. I mean, you could see it on this side of the bridge when it got on the bridge. So, and the other incident of significance was the fatal boating accident that happened on the Pend Oreille River with the high-speed boat, and where those 4 people perished. That operation has been completed now. So for the month of June, we had a total of 115 incidents. Sago responded to 52, Sandpoint had 56, and Westside had 7. Our training right now for June and starting into July a little bit is some of the marine training. These guys were getting back into the boat operations, stuff like that. We had a couple of our newer folks that had basically come in at the end of the season last year, and they weren't able to. They're going through their task manuals right now to be able to operate the boat. So that's what we're finishing that up. And the firefighter 1 course, we did put that on for the new residents that we have out at Dover. We're about 50-50 on the pass rate on that right now. So one of them passed everything, all of the exams and the skills. One of them passed everything except one exam, and they're going to retake that one. And then there's a couple of them that have to make a decision on if this is really what they want to do. So we're going to have that talk probably next week. So, but other than that, that program is still moving along. The maintenance, any projects we had in maintenance, the aerial is scheduled for its annual service testing next month. There are 2 tests that you can do on an aerial. There's just a regular annual inspection, and then there's a non-destructive test. It's just a little bit more involved than the regular annual one. Those you don't have to do them, but maybe once, I think it's once every 5 years, but it's only like $250 more. And my suggestion is we do the non-destructive test every year. There's no reason to wait. I mean, they do magnetized stuff. They check all the fluid, the hydraulic fluid and stuff like that. It's just a deeper dive into the testing for the aerial. So that's my recommendation. And that's what I kind of directed our folks to do. I just wanted to give you a heads up. That's kind of, so I think it's August the 8th is when they're scheduled to do that. The next thing we want to talk about is it's kind of a project in the maintenance area. And it is our annual pump service testing. So every year we test the pumps and the fire engines. We're quickly running out of places to do that. And it is going to be my recommendation that we move the testing for those pumps to a third-party vendor. And because they can bring in the trailer and they can basically do it anywhere. And it basically is going to take the liability off of us doing it ourselves. Having a third-party vendor test those, it's gonna remove that liability. So if the pump fails, it wasn't because we didn't do it right. Or if pump fails and someone gets hurt, it wasn't because we tested it wrong. They said it passed, so the onus is kind of on them. Getting pricing for that right now, and it is a specific to the apparatus in each district. It's not a JPA shared expense, so everybody's cost would be different on that. And
all those are budgeted?
They're not budgeted right now. That's why I'm getting the pricing on it. I want to make sure I think we should have more than enough money to do it, because I don't think it's for all of our frontline apparatus in one bucket. I think is less than $3,500. I think it's $250 a pump, I think is how that works. So we're gonna go through it and at least pencil it out and make sure that it's, we can afford it. And Sarah says, yeah, I can afford it. Sarah says, no, I can't afford it. Then we're looking at something else. The plan is to explore the same route of a third-party tester for all of our ground ladders next year. That's the plan. Our ground ladders have not been tested, and they're required to be tested every year. I don't know why they haven't been tested, but they just haven't. So we're going to start getting those on the rotation as well.
Who does pump testing? Like Spokane?
There's a company that comes. I know that Northside has a company that comes in and does. I'm not sure the name of the company. We're just kind of in that investigative portion of it right now. But I think most of the time, if the companies are coming in to do one department, they'll let the other department just kind of slide in. So that while they're here, they can do them. And I think they're supposed to be over there in like September. And that's just a month, or I think it's just a month after we're supposed to do ours anyway. So I just want to take a look. Community engagement, so far, the only thing we have on the radar is actually for Labor Day weekend. And it's September the 3rd from 8 to 3. We'll be doing a collection fundraiser at Super One Foods for the NBA Foundation, the Jerry Lewis Telethon. I think that's it. That's it for the chief's report.
Any other questions for the chief? Thank you. Sarah.
Okay, moving on
Financial report.
to,
Which one do you want?
go ahead and open up the fire station wages and benefits. So we are 71.15% of the way pay periods through the year. And you can see by station there, the percentage spent year to date. With June coming in, this was only the two pay periods in this month in June. So those are the percentages. And then go ahead and pull up the JPA administration one. And that too has just been updated for June. Still looking, we're about 75% of the way. I say about only because as October is finishing, we do roll back some of those to September if they are September expenses. So that's 75%. We're at 60.93. That yellow highlighted one down there spent year to date. So still looking good overall on the JPA administration, with the caveat that some of these expenses have been again, the budget was just a plug until we actually had a chief here, as I give that spiel every month. So
And we have some positions here that are unfilled that we had allocated, like HR right now.
yes, but we are charging, I'm doing HR, so some of my time, some of Melissa's time is getting charged for the HR position, so. Yes, but the assistant chief position or the deputy chief position is open for sure, so that definitely. So any questions on that? Chief would love to answer them.
I would love for the county to be done with the paperwork so we can have our final numbers. That's what I love.
Any questions on financial report?
Sarah, what's driving Sagal to be over right now? I see 1 month stands out, looks like.
I will divert to chief because those are staffing. I'm assuming you're talking Sagal Station on the staffing questions.
Right, the Sagal's at
Yeah,
76%.
so I would definitely-
First page there.
Oh, gotcha.
You're talking April.
Yeah,
Well, that's
we
the one that
had,
stands out.
yeah, we had the April reporting over into May, and then the one for March coming from that February. So that early part of that year was probably when the COVID, everybody was out on COVID. It just kind of seemed like the majority of them at the time were coming from Sagal and Carywood.
That's a three pay period one too.
Yeah, and then we had which one? Pardon me. Looked like March was down pretty low. And I don't know if it's just kind of going back and forth. I mean, we're still,
Except in March, there was $6,000 overtime.
yeah,
That would
I
have
think that would have been the February
been
carrying over.
the COVID. And then also it's the 24-day pay period. They have a 24-day cycle that gets paid every 24 days. So it doesn't hit every pay period that they're getting paid overtime. So some months you'll see none, but then the next month you'll see a bunch because it's not paid every pay period. And that's what you're in, and that probably, and I can go look at the details, but that might have had actually 2 24-day pay periods on that one. And these are actuals of like what people actually spend in the station. So if they're moving around, they get charged to that station.
So we're 5% over budget, is what we're saying, go on Sagal. So how do we manage that for the rest of the year?
So we did implement and it wasn't that long ago, we implemented to where we can shift our folks around. So if there is, and apparently this was the way it was designed in the beginning, we just weren't using it that way. If Sagal has someone off and somebody else has to call out and Sandpoint is full, then we can shift someone down. It still generates a bill, but it's a straight time rather than overtime. We just put that into play probably, what do you think, Trevor, maybe a month and a half ago, something like that, 2 months ago is when when we started doing that. We have moved some people around, but there were three of our employees went out with COVID again, and they were all on Sagal, and they were both in either Sagal or Carywood. And that was just recently as well. So it was right after, I remember it being close to like right after June 1st. So it was right after the 1st of June is when those folks went out during that pay period. So I don't know if it's probably not even going to catch up until next month. When it shows up.
Well, and we were all in April, all of our salaries, it was up a bit, so I think. it
That's the
is
3 pay periods
yeah,
month,
pay
yes.
It was consistent.
Yep.
So I guess the question is that we're over budget, so how do we make sure we don't go over budget for the year?
There has, I'm trying to think of the way that the scheduling looks. The way the scheduling looks right now, we were just looking at it the other day, and the way the scheduling looks right now, it's there wasn't anything that was glaring that was anything different. Any other way to get it down under that 5%? Right off the top of my head.
So where is that money going to come from then?
Well, right now, I think we've got savings in other parts of our budget that we haven't used. But I don't think, in our overall picture, we're still under a little bit. The payroll's a little over, but everything else is under, so I think it kind of makes up for it. So,
We're definitely under in the JPA administration expenses. So, that is budget savings there.
yeah, we have some that are Sagal specific as well, because I know that we had budgeted X amount for some of the station stuff that we're getting stuff done, but that's not at a cost of what was originally budgeted. It's for less, so we are realizing the savings on that side too.
New business. Chief, you want to address the Skill Bridge program, and you're looking for an action from JP board?
Yeah, this is a program that is for military personnel that are transitioning out of the military into back into the civilian workforce. We were contacted the other day by a captain in the Air Force that is interested in pursuing a career in the fire service. And the military has this program, that's what he was talking to us about. The military, basically, for the last 6 months of their hitch or their enlistment, the military basically partners with an agency, and they pay this person, they keep them housed. It is of no cost at all to us. Anything that they need, the military covers it. And it's just so that they can start getting exposed to the new career, new skill set that they're trying to get involved in. I did reach out to a couple of other chiefs. I know West Ponderay has one right now that they've accepted using from the Army. And he's working with them on their wildland side right now as into kind of like in their resident program that they have. So I just wanted to know if it's something that we might want to take a look at and research further to see if it's something that we think could benefit Selkirk in any of our, if it's basically getting someone in we'll have them for 6 months and there's no cost to us at all. So we just basically take care of them and start teaching them skills and get them certified as far as they want to go.
So is the intent to recruit these individuals once they go through this training, or?
It can be used as a recruitment tool.
Okay.
We're very set in our staffing as far as what we have, what we budget for. But it is more so they can start getting acclimated to some of those skills that this particular captain wants to pursue fire as his civilian career once he gets out. So this is just a way for that person to come into the fire service. They come, it's like a 9 to 5. They come in and they work and they start learning some of the skills to get them ready to start testing, get certified, things like that, and get more just to get exposure to it to see if it's, something that they really wanted to get into.
Is this a benefit to you?
I don't know. I just heard about it the other day. It seems like it is, but I would have to find out what kind of benefit it would be. I think it could help, but it's not like we can bring this person in and turn them loose on an engine because they're absolutely not ready for that. So I need to find out maybe kind of what kind of roles could we use them in to help get them on the right path. Would it benefit putting them possibly like in the Sagal side on the WIF program, something like that, where their salaries covered instead of having to do this pass-through thing that we're doing now. So it seemed like an opportunity. I just wanted to look into it a little bit further, but I wanted to see if you guys wanted me to kind of give you the heads up, because if it's not something that we would want to look at, then there's no sense in going down that road.
Does your team have the bandwidth to do it? I mean, do you have the time to train these people to do this?
Yeah, it's kind of built in. They're just basically going to take place in the same type of training that we're doing daily, day in, day out. We built the firefighter 1 course into what we did for the resident program. So it's not that we would get them certified, but it's more so just so they can be involved in that day to day. We're going, this is cleaning the station this way, you take care of the trucks. We go do training, that kind of stuff. The only thing they can't do is respond with us, and they can't do that until they're certified. So they're kind of it's almost like a watch and learn kind of a deal, but it is an extra hand around the station. But the quickest route for them to get into the fire service is to go through the wildland side of it. So that was my initial thought, was maybe using these folks if they wanted to come in to utilize them in the wildland program through Sagal. But it's I need to find out a little bit more about it, but it seems like it's a win-win if that's the route to go. So
Thank you.
So if they were with us, would they be issued a uniform?
would they be issued a uniform?
Yeah.
They probably have to get issued something, yeah, like pants and t-shirt, something like that.
So I think my sense in what all they're covering in the cost of the program, thinking about some of our upfront costs for employees too. Even if they're paying salary and benefits, are we going to have other associated costs like uniform or something else? And do they reimburse some of those costs?
Right. I definitely take a look into that.
Jim, did you have a question too? Sorry, I kind of both spoke at the same time.
The people you're thinking of having people here on site then.
Mhm.
And so there's someone still on active duty, but is coming out of Fairchild or are they coming from?
Yeah, the captain that contacted me is in Germany right now. So I guess it's
Transition
worldwide.
program.
Yeah, it's just a whole transition program for
So he would come here for a period of time.
6 months. It would be the final 6 months of their enlistment.
I would be concerned they would be able to find housing for the individual, but
Yeah, I don't know how that works because it's a very unique housing situation here. But
What about Dover
Yeah,
resident?
Yeah, they could do it as on a resident side. They can do the resident program, but if they're not certified, they just can't respond. That's it. And that's gonna be with anywhere that they go. Could they stay there and work as in like a support capacity, which is kind of how we do the residents now, until they're certified. I don't see why not. But it's one of those things just to take a look at and see. I know the quickest way to get certified and get into the fire side of it is through a wildland side. It's not going to be through the structure side. Because wildland, they can get certified in wildland in a month or ish, but it's going to take them months to get. It took these last guys 4 months to get through just the firefighter one side of it. So.
Yeah, I think I would like to have the questions answered that, Jennifer said, and then also, is there just a specific allocation for housing? Because if they say to you, yeah, it's only $1,000 a month. I'm
Right.
not sure that's gonna go anywhere here.
Yeah,
We might not
exactly.
be able to.
My experience in the military is that they have a housing stipend, which is based on zip code.
Okay,
Yeah, like a BAQ kind of thing. BAQ.
Sounds like it's worth investigating a little bit more, and if it looks like it may be something viable, then perhaps scheduling it back for one of our future meetings
Okay.
for a report back, and if it looks like a path forward, kind of a program plan of what that would look like.
Sure. I said he reached out and I was like, that was the first time I'd heard of it. So I wanted to check if any of the other and West Ponderay, they were using one side, check with him too, and then go back through this guy to see if he's got any more information.
and we really need more wildland firefighters.
Yeah, maybe if the person could get qualified in a month or two out of their 6-month term and DOD paid for PPE. And maybe at the Dover is a live-in
Mhm.
wildland.
Right.
Wouldn't hurt any.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else on that program, Chief?
No, that was it. Thank you.
With that, I would ask for a motion from the board to convene into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061J to consider labor contract matters authorized under Idaho Code 74-206A1A and B.
I make a motion to convene into executive session, and I'd like to include Ken as our alternate board member from West Side to be included if you'd like.
For a second,
Oh, second. I'll wake up, I'm like, okay, cool.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the recording will now be stopped, and after the executive session, the board will resume the regular meeting and immediately adjourn.